I always thought I was a pretty good writer. My family had commented on it as I was a child growing up. I did extremely well at school, and I never had any issues at university or in the workplace. Until I started working for a new manager. I guess I was about 7 years out of university, so not a grad anymore. And I'd already been given some communication mentoring by some pretty amazing mentors when I was a lab manager. I was writing work instructions and business documents routinely. But the organisational structure changed, and I moved into an operational support role, business development. So I was providing technical analysis of plant conditions and identifying big picture improvement opportunities to the operational team. Part of this move was being assigned to work for one of the technical gurus on site. You've probably met someone like this before, the go-to people. The people that you go to if there is something that you don't quite understand or when you aren't sure how to resolve something technical. Like many of these go-to people, John had a reputation for being a little difficult. He was known for having low patience with people if he thought they were lazy. If you really wanted his help, you had to earn it. You had to have tried hard enough on your own, in his opinion, and exhausted all avenues first. He was not going to accept becoming a shortcut tool for a quick solution. I mean, could you imagine how busy he would be if this is how people were using his time? So I was moving from a role where I felt really confident, lab manager, lab coordinator, to a role that was pretty new to me and quite a big step up. I wasn't going to be a big fish in a little pond anymore, but a tiny fish in a huge ocean. At least that's how it felt. And the person who was there to help and guide me? A white pointer shark. But I'm brave if I'm nothing else. So I rocked up on the first day, reported directly to my new manager, and let him know I was ready to start. Well, it became apparent quickly that I was not his first choice of having a one and only employee. He told me he felt that my technical writing skills were substandard, and he didn't know if I would be able to get them into shape at all. It may be too challenging for someone with my background. I admit that stopped me in my tracks for a bit. But he may have known me better than I thought, because it made me really determined to get my tech writing skills there, wherever there was. At this point, I didn't really understand what he was referring to. I knew how to write well. I knew how to construct clear, concise sentences, thanks to all my previous mentors. I knew how to communicate my ideas within a thesis. After all, I'd written one and I got a high mark. And I'd also presented my findings at a conference. I had some reasonable experience, and I had never faced this feedback before. One of my first projects was to test an idea for a process improvement in the plant. John and I scoped the job, designed some lab tests, and I completed them. So far, so good. This was familiar territory. Now to write the technical report. I got the template and filled out the right areas, collated all of my data, drew my conclusions, and I emailed it for John for review. I felt okay about it. Until the next morning. When the document had been printed out, it was sitting on my desk waiting for me, and it was covered in red pen. I mean, there was more red pen than black ink. This was terrifying to me. I went through it all and I rolled my eyes about 1,000 times. He was recommending the smallest synonym changes for words. I can't remember them now, but I remember thinking that he didn't want me to express my ideas, but to write as though I was him. We all have different styles, right? Why do I need to sound like a John clone? Then I got a meeting request to see him in his office. My stomach felt like it was going to strangle itself. Then, at this point, I did the wrong thing. I asked for advice from someone who had reported to him previously. Their feedback? He's not going to accept any of your own personal ideas, and this was the reason that this person had moved to a different part of the process. He just couldn't work for him at all. Well, I mentioned I'm brave, so I went to the meeting and I was biting my tongue all the way through it. I felt chastised and a little bit humiliated. Like I'd proven him right. I wasn't going to be able to do this. But what else was I going to do? I reflected on this for a few days and I decided to accept this as my current situation and to try and find a way to learn whatever I could from him. He had amazing knowledge, and even if I never got to his level of acceptable, at least I would still improve myself. Obviously, he recognized this in my performance. I didn't disengage and I didn't give up. He thought I would, as many others had done before. I earned his support. Now he started to train me. My first performance review with him was tough. I got a below expectations comment on my professional record. But he didn't give up trying to teach me, and I didn't give up trying to learn. Over time, as I started to understand the very small shifts he was making in the way I was expressing technical ideas, I got it. These word choices that he was recommending weren't straight synonym swaps. There were nuanced meaning shifts. And he was polishing the content to make it powerful instead of just accurate. After all, I was writing to influence business decisions. Instead of writing technically accurate information, I needed to write technically accurate information that influenced the business to make smart choices. It was a mindset shift that came from having the training and support needed to make that transition. Without John's leadership, I'm not sure I would have ever got there. He got that right. And it was only 2 years later that he sat me down with a serious face expression and told me that he felt he had nothing left to teach me, that it was time for me to go out and do it all on my own and teach the next generation. The biggest compliment I have ever had in the workplace.